All right, so the Detroit Lions, and we're going to talk about the home game. How big is this game? This is a must-win game for the Detroit Lions. You might be like, well, Griff or Derek, it's only week 3, brother. We still got 15 weeks to go. I hear what you're saying, but to me, this is a must-win game for the Detroit Lions, right? We got a Dono. Appreciate you, Braylon. Says, does Uno's Pizza Parties on primetime Lions games? Not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, bro. Appreciate you. So here's my thinking. This is a must-win game. Why is that? Well, because the Falcons are NFC. They play in the NFC. That could come back to bite us in the rear later, just like the Seattle Seahawks did last year and will do again this year, right? The Seattle Seahawks hold the tiebreaker. Now, you might be like, well, Derek, that doesn't matter if you win the division. And you would be right. However, look at the different scenarios that we have going into the season, all right? And if you want me to bring the segment in, then talk about this, all right? Or your comment into the segment. The Detroit Lions sit at 1-1. The Minnesota Vikings 0-2. The Chicago Bears 0-2, about to be a solid 0-3. There's no way they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bears are just, wow. Talk about disharmony. It's ridiculous. I would be surprised if they don't pick first again, right? So you have the Chicago Bears 0-2, waiting on 0-3. The Minnesota Vikings, they have a good chance to go 0-3 as well. And the Green Bay Packers are currently 1-1. We play them in what? A week. 1 week from today, we play the Green Bay Packers in what will be our week 4 game. In between there is the Green Bay Packers have to play their third game, and we have to play the Atlanta Falcons. Now, let's paint this scenario. If in the NFC North, which we are trying to win and projected to win this year, if the Bears lose, they're gonna lose. So let's pencil that in. The Minnesota Vikings. Somebody tell me who they play in the comment section because I don't know. But the Minnesota Vikings, let's just say best case scenario, they lose. Worst case scenario, they win. They're now 1-2. The best either the Bears or the Minnesota Vikings can be after the Green Bay Packers game is 2-2, right? So after week 4, after they play, we play our week 4 first. They play their week 4. The best the Bears or the Minnesota Vikings could be is 2-2. The worst would be 0-4, right? But let's give Minnesota a win. Let's say they win week 4, all right? So the Bears are 0-4, the Vikings are 1-3. And let's just say, okay, Vikings play the Chargers. That's an L. Both of those teams, this is week 3, right? Both of those teams are 0-2. By the way, you know who I have projected to be the next coach of the LA Chargers? Would be our coordinator, Ben Johnson, but that's a whole different video, all right? Chargers going to get that dub. I think they get the dub. Minnesota drops to 0-3, right? I think they win that game. They got too much offense. So let's go in now to, now we're going into week 4, right? Who do the Packers play in week 3? Green Bay plays the Saints. Appreciate that. So now that could go either way. Green Bay 1-1, Saints are 2-0. So let's give Green Bay, let's give them a win. Let's give them a win. Let's say Green Bay wins and they're 2-1. We are 1-1 because we haven't played yet. So we're not on our team yet, but we will be. So you have 0-4, 1-3, 2-1, and now let's get to our Detroit Lions. How big is a week 3 game? Well, assuming the Green Bay Packers win, they'll be now 2-1. Let's say we take care of business at home. We beat Atlanta. Now we're 2-1. Depending on how many points are scored, we can now take over first place in the NFC North. Now that week 4 matchup, all right? We're not worried about Minnesota. We're not worried about Chicago. The week 4 matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau, okay, is all the difference in the world. Why? Because if the Detroit Lions are 2-1 and the Green Bay Packers are 2-1, we win that game, we go to 3-1, they go to 2-2, right? Now, let's say the Green Bay Packers lose against the Saints this weekend. They're now 1-2. We beat the Atlanta Falcons. We are now 2-1. That game in week 4 will provide a 2-game lead for the Detroit Lions. right? Now let's just hypothetically say, oh my goodness, I'll talk about it after the segment. I say, oh my God, wow, the news that just came through. Now let's say best case scenario, best case scenario, or worst case scenario, the Lions lose against the Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers beat the New Orleans Saints. Now all of a sudden the Detroit Lions are 1-2. The Green Bay Packers are 2-1. It could flip that way as well. So either team could be 2-2 coming out of that game. One team could be 1-3. The other team could be 3-1. This is a huge game, and it starts at home against the Atlanta Falcons. That's why you cannot let games get away, because if you do, it is all the difference in the world. Now we're trying to win the North. In order to win the North, we got to be the best team in our division, right? We haven't played a division opponent yet. We play one in week 4. Matter of fact, most of our stuff is like back end. Like we don't play the Bears, I think, for the first time until what? Thanksgiving? Something crazy like that. I could be off about that, but either way. And then we have 2 games in 3 weeks with the Minnesota Vikings at the end of the year. This game against the Atlanta Falcons is critical. And the Detroit Lions, if I'm a player, I'm saying to myself, there's no way we lose 2 games at home. The crowd is the hypest we've ever seen. We cannot give up this game. A lot of people are hurt, but we got a lot of people that can step up. And it's up to our defensive coordinator. It's up to our coach. It's up to the players to make sure that we defend the den and get this W. This game could mean all the difference in the world. And we haven't even got to the Packers yet, right? So we got to take care of business, go 1-1 at home, come out of week 3 at 2-1, because all 3 other teams in the NFC North can lose, which will put us at 2-1, the Packers at 1-2, the Vikings and Bears at 0-3. And you're talking about that the division isn't ours for the taking. So let me know your thoughts. I'm going to say in the first quarter of the season, this is the most important game of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, go Lions.